Death is the one experience every human being will face, yet it is the one we understand the least. Most people avoid thinking about death. They push it away, ignore it, fear it. But what if death is not an end, but a transition? What if the moments between death and what comes next are not random, but psychological? The Tibetan Book of the Dead, also known as the Bardo Tho, is one of the most profound explorations of this idea. It does not describe death as a single moment. It describes it as a process, a journey through states of consciousness, where the mind itself becomes the entire reality. And whether the journey leads to liberation or confusion depends on one thing: recognition. According to this text, when a person dies, they enter what is called the bardo, an intermediate state between death and rebirth. But this is not a physical place. It is a psychological landscape. Everything experienced in the bardo is generated by the mind. Visions, sounds, entities, even time itself. All of it is a projection of consciousness. And here is the key idea. If you recognize these experiences as projections of your own mind, you can become free. If you do not, you become lost within them. This is where the psychology becomes powerful, because this is not just about death. It is about how we live. Think about it. Even now, in your daily life, you are constantly interpreting reality through your own mind. Your fears shape what you see. Your desires distort your perception. Your past experiences influence every reaction. In a sense, you are already living inside a psychological projection. The difference is, you believe it is real. The Tibetan Book of the Dead suggests that death simply removes the physical anchor and reveals the mind in its pure form, unfiltered, uncontrolled, amplified. And for most people, that is overwhelming. The text describes different stages of the bardo. In the first stage, the individual encounters a clear, brilliant light. This light represents pure awareness, the true nature of the mind. If recognized, it leads to immediate liberation. But most people do not recognize it. Why? Because they are not familiar with it. They have spent their entire lives focused outward, on objects, on thoughts, on distractions. So when they encounter pure awareness, it feels unfamiliar, even frightening, and they turn away. This is the first psychological lesson. You cannot recognize in death what you have never experienced in life. The second stage introduces visions. Peaceful and wrathful deities appear. Some are beautiful and calming, others are terrifying and intense. But again, these are not external beings. They are symbolic expressions of the mind. The peaceful forms represent clarity, compassion, and wisdom. The wrathful forms represent fear, resistance, and suppressed emotion. If the individual understands this, there is no fear. But if they do not, they react. They panic. They resist. They try to escape. And in doing so, they fall deeper into confusion. This mirrors something very real in everyday psychology. When people encounter difficult emotions, fear, anger, anxiety, they do the same thing. They resist. They avoid. But resistance does not remove the experience. It strengthens it. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches the opposite approach. Recognition without reaction. See it clearly. Do not identify with it. Do not run from it, because it is not separate from you. It is you. As the process continues, the experiences become more chaotic. The mind, unable to stabilize itself, begins to seek familiarity. It looks for something solid, something known. And this leads to the final stage, rebirth. The individual is drawn toward a new existence, not by choice, but by conditioning, habit, desire, attachment. In other words, the same forces that shape their life now shape what comes next. This is the second psychological lesson. You do not escape your mind at death. You carry it with you. Everything you have practiced, everything you have reinforced, becomes the structure of your experience. So the real question is not, what happens after death? The real question is, what are you training your mind to do right now? Because according to this teaching, your daily thoughts, your emotional patterns, your reactions are not temporary. They are preparation. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is not just a guide for the dying. It is a manual for the living. It teaches that clarity must be developed now. Awareness must be practiced now. Recognition must be trained now. Because in the moment it matters most, you will not rise to the occasion. You will fall to the level of your conditioning. And this idea applies far beyond death. In moments of stress, you do not suddenly become calm. You default to your habits. In moments of uncertainty, you do not suddenly become clear. You default to your patterns. In moments of fear, you do not suddenly become aware. You default to your training. So if your mind is reactive, you will react. If your mind is conditioned by fear, you will experience fear. If your mind is trained in awareness, you will recognize what is happening. This is the real message, not fear of death, but preparation for reality. Because whether in life or in death, the greatest challenge is the same. Can you recognize your own mind without being controlled by it? Most people cannot. They are pulled by thoughts, driven by emotion, lost in reaction. And because of that, they never experience clarity. The Tibetan Book of the Dead offers a different possibility. It suggests that freedom is not something you gain externally. It is something you realize internally, not by changing the world, but by understanding the mind. And that understanding begins with something simple: observation. Watch your thoughts, notice your reactions, see how quickly the mind creates meaning and attaches to it. Because once you see it clearly, you begin to separate from it, and that separation is the beginning of control. Not control in the sense of force, but control through awareness, the ability to experience without being overwhelmed, the ability to see without being pulled, the ability to recognize without reacting. If you can do that in life, you are already preparing for something much deeper. Because the ultimate message of this text is not about death, it is about awakening. Awakening to the nature of the mind, awakening to the fact that reality, as you experience it, is not as solid as it seems, and awakening to the possibility that freedom has been available all along, not somewhere else, not in the future, but here, now, hidden beneath the noise of your own thoughts. The question is, will you recognize it? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.